Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Total War Rome 2 here today on the channel. We have episode 3 of my DEI Divide Et Impera Rhodes campaign. Here today we're going to be marching north to Larissa to hopefully take the breadbasket of Greece. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. I'd really much appreciate it. Alrighty, so in the last episode we managed to take Athens, and we've actually moved our central administration to the city, making it our new capital. It's just a larger city, much more reliable. It's the region capital in the province of Hellas, and it's a much easier city to defend, and it's more than likely not going to get sieged and cut off than it is to Rhodes. So Rhodes is sort of the cultural hub of the empire, while Athens is where the main administration is. Okay, so currently our leadership is split between the faction leader, Eugenius, and then we've got Acamus as well, the family leader. We currently have a military alliance with Egypt, which is supplying us with a lot of support on the sort of political stage. We will be declaring war upon Larissa here, because this is going to solve a huge problem at the moment. We're currently hemorrhaging food. We've got quite large cities, but we're mostly relying on our fish yield, which obviously sometimes fish can be seasonal. It's not the most reliable resource. So we're going to be pushing into what I consider the breadbasket here in Greece, Larissa. It's got a bunch of fertile land, nice and flat, just before the Greek mountains. Bunch of grain, bunch of food, bunch of wheat resources. So we definitely want to try and get the fertile heartland under our control. However, obviously being a flat open field region, it is quite susceptible for soldiers, cavalry and armies just to roll on through. Particularly now we have to watch out for the Romans in Apollonia. They currently have a full legion there. So unfortunately the Roman war machine might have actually set its sights on Greece in this campaign. Sometimes they commit their forces into North Africa, France. Seeing that legion there makes me worry that they want to go into Greece. So Larissa has actually negotiated with me here, saying, hey, we'll bend the knee. We'll make you our liege lord. We'll be your puppet, if you allow us to be. Now, I don't want to make them my puppet, because if we ever attack anyone else, they're more than likely going to claim their independence. So we'll fight this one. They've marched out, which is interesting. Alright, the Battle of Larissa, 273 BC. Another field battle. I was actually kind of hoping for a siege, to be honest, because Larissa is actually probably an easier city to take in a siege rather than a Knossos or an Athens, because Larissa doesn't have any naval support. But we've been... well, they basically said, hey, we'll bend the knee. If you make peace, we'll give you a tariff every turn. If not, we're going to march out and attack you. And they have. So we're going to march north here with our full stack. Most of our army is made up of Rhodian hoplites, brave men of Rhodes. We've got some Cretan archers and Rhodian slingers. Dude, I'm not even going to lie. We start off with some of the best skirmishers in the early game. And our Rhodian hoplites are nothing to sniff at either. We've got some Greek mercenary hoplites here as well. And they do have more additional reinforcements coming on in. So, if we can get this province fully under control, we'll be laughing. But at the moment, we are a little bit... It's in an annoying position. Like, strategically, we're fine. We've got this really good triangulation of economic trade and commerce and resources flowing from Crete to Rhodes to Athens. But annoyingly, all of those settlements are in either 3 or 4 different provinces. Technically, Rhodes is in Asia Minor, although Knossos and Athens are in the same province of Hellas, but Larissa here is in another province itself. So technically now, once we take this, we're going to be bordering with the Romans and the Macedonians. So that means we should get more reliable and consistent trade from the Romans, as we're not trading directly from Athens to, I guess, Rome, Ostia. Isn't the port Ostia? Yeah. We can actually trade through Apollonia through the trade networks. Okay, so we just made a front line here. Nothing too crazy. We've got some Greek mercenaries in reserve just trying to react. You have a strong long front line. Chuck them into formation. And then we have a couple units on the left and right just to stop anyone trying to wrap around. I've kept my cavalry in reserve hidden here. So what I'd like to do is, if the enemy hoplites, the materials, lock on to the frontline anvil, we'll be able to swing around with the cavalry hammer and then start cycle charging ideally, because the auto resolve was in my favour. However, the battlefield seems to be in theirs slightly. Okay. So Larissa, obviously a huge culturally significant province and place in Greek mythology and antiquity. Larissa. Doesn't it also have some Eastern Orthodox connections as well? I think. Yeah, it's got some sort of connection with the East. Okay, so they are currently sending in some skirmish cav here, and they've got a sword unit there, so we should be able to make quick work now that they've interlocked in. And we're about to swing with the Rhodian hammer as the Greek mercs are holding them in place. And that's a fantastic charge there against the swordsmen. It's only going to be a matter of time before they capitulate. Yeah, I just had to hide my cavalry there because they probably would have got rushed and exposed. It might seem kind of foolish. It seems a bit silly that, like, oh, you got cavalry, right? The enemy sees them. You swing them into the forest really quick, and the AI just completely forgets about them, like they haven't seen them. So bear that in mind. It is a legitimate strategy to wait sometimes and wait for the enemy forces, if they attack you, to start interlocking their infantry with yours. And if you've kept your cavalry hidden, you can spring a pretty decent surprise attack. So both phalanx are battling it out. Once again, DEI infantry formations are carrying us, this time with the phalanx. Obviously Rome with their fantastic ability. So the right hand side is capitulated. Now we're actually swinging around to their archers. So let's reorganize and form up the cavalry before we go in again. Alright, let's give out some offensive maneuvers. There we go, because we've got a couple of units just not doing too much. Things look a little bit more hairier and harsh on that left-hand side. And we go again. Bit you to commit, and we'll swing around. Form that up just to make it a little bit nice. There we go. There we go. Alright. Slightly angle this, and then we'll hit into this one. Those light militia should be just trashed. There we go. Dude, we are putting these boys to work. I feel bad for the men of Larissa. Out of all the Greeks we've fought recently and bringing them under our fold, they've definitely performed the worst. Dude, Athens, even damn Knossos put up a better fight and better resistance than these poor guys, these poor farmers. It kind of makes sense with the whole grain and food basket analogy that I was going on about, that we're fighting poor conscripted farmers in. To be fair, they do seem to be doing better in the center on the left here, where their general unit is. Balance of power is about 65% in my favour. Our cavalry is still fresh and fiery and eager to go. Too easy. They're just picking off units left, right and centre. There goes another medium phalanx unit. Oh, not gonna lie, we're getting a little bit thin with some of these phalanx. 3, 4 are in the yellow zone. Not too many are in the green health bracket. They are wavering. 3, 4 of them. But there still seems to be, unfortunately, 3, 4 still holding. They're making us fight for the bitter end on this side. As the right capitulated and fell so quickly. Maybe we just need to go for the general unit now. There we go. Charge on in. Get everyone else to swing on in. Like, just hard, full-on send it. There we go. They're wavering now. Send into combat, and that might... Yep, that's it. Good. That's exactly what we wanted. So, thankfully I've got a bunch of cavalry in reserve. Thankfully they didn't take too many losses, so we're going to have an absolute field day here. Running down the remaining unit stragglers here. Because the more we get rid of, the better. The less that are actually going to run back to Larissa itself. We want to try and avoid a long, arduous, protracted siege in the city. Although it's not too built up either, though. If we do have to take it with hardline military force, we can do it. But the army that came out has inflicted quite decent casualties against us. Like, we're winning battles, but we're losing a lot of men because of it. And maybe I think, like, we've got the skirmishers. Maybe our infantry is subpar, which kind of makes sense. Rhodes. When you think of Rhodes, you think of the Rhodian Slingers, the naval supremacy. You think of, like, all of those attributes. I don't know if they're very renowned for their infantry expertise, let's say. You'd even think that definitely Sparta has it, but maybe even Athens and some of the central Achaean forces might have it. But anyway, they outnumbered us by about 1,000, so maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. We lost 1,200 on the battlefield, while they lost, oh my god, 3,700. Crikey, that's awesome. And, yeah, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Maybe I'm being a little bit overcritical. Maybe I'm overthinking things, because, look, those Rhodian hoplites, although they've been trashed there, to anywhere between 70 to 90% of their health gone, they're getting a couple hundred kills. Like 300 for a hoplite unit is fantastic. Cavalry up there with the 200s as well, and with the archers. Like anything about 100 is bare minimum, I think, in DEI when you're getting kills with a unit. Like that's minimum. That's what you'd expect. Once it gets to 200, that's a decisive and good, a great performance. Then it gets to 300, that's awesome. Like it's really quite good. All right. Was there much friendly fire, though? Nah. Only 5 by the look of it. Which is negligible. Their infantry... one of those infantry units... One of those pike... The general unit did alright, and then a couple of those pike units didn't do too bad either, actually. But we've destroyed the reinforcing secondary army. And I think we've inflicted such high casualties on Larissa that army's not going to escape either. Oh my god. The army that was named the Wings of Pegasus has been absolutely decimated here. Oh my god. We have managed to capture 945. However, because we've crushed so many and there's no armies left, it might not actually be worth to just get rid of them. we might be better off to actually, we might be better off to enslave, actually, because we've been ransoming quite a lot. I think I'm actually going to do that. Yeah, let's bring in the captives into the fold, because because obviously the prisoner, the economy in DEI can be huge, especially with Rome, dude. You can build like a massive slave empire, which is kind of realistic. You do have to be careful if they sort of overflow a bit and we're not selling enough. You can have rebellions and stuff, which can be a bit annoying, but you can make a huge amount of money. And now that we're starting to build up a bit, our provinces, we're going to be good. Okay, so I think, yeah, I don't think that escaped. I think they've recruited another army, and that's going to be easier for me in the order resolve, because what it's going to do is it's going to drag out the garrison there, so we're not going to have to siege and take it. Unfortunately, we lost one unit there, but that's okay. We'll continue to push on. And then, yeah, look at this. We're going to march and be greeted in the city streets of Larissa, being liberated. We're going to loot them as well. And what a province. We've taken Larissa, our first settlement in Macedonia. Unfortunately, we are now quite close to Pella with the Antigonid dynasty and the Roman Republic. We've parked a legion bang smack on that wine resource. We'll get some Rhodian hoplites in, along with some citizen cavalry. And we'll replenish and repair where we can. So already, even when it's winter, our food surplus, our deficit of food has actually decreased. It's a lot smaller. It's only 2 now, which is negligible. We only be able to get that back on track, because we have been dealing with pestilence and plague and just a severe lack of consistent food. Because it can be a little bit hard to come by in Greece. Also, we don't actually fully control a province, so we can't enact any edicts. Selling food, buying food, doing various things. So we'll move the secondary army back to Rhodes. But it's probably not a bad idea now with the amount of money we're making. Because it's just gone insane, the amount of trade we've got flowing. Like, you can really structure your empire on a trading empire. Because we're now about to hit the Iberian countries. We're currently trading with all of North Africa and the Bosphorus. Have we found anyone else in and around here? No, unfortunately we can't trade. With some of them it's blocked. But, yeah, as you can see in the bottom left, most of our money is coming from there. Still got that military alliance with Egypt. And yeah, I'm just sort of looking at our neighbours, if there's any wars breaking out or anything. But nothing too crazy at the moment. Alright, let's replenish and repair. And turtle up for a little bit. And I'll let you know if anything significantly happens. Oh, there we go. Slave uprising. Brilliant.
A man is easy. Breaking his spirit.
On Rome's end turn. Well, that was the consequence of doing that in Larissa. Okay, so only time will tell how that bad is. Spartacus has revolted. Oh, look at this. So, the uprising happened outside Athens, and the military access pact we have with Sparta, we don't have any official alliances, they've actually marched on over to get rid of the slave uprising. That is hilarious, because I guess from the Spartan perspective, they cannot allow their Helot population to see an uprising over the border. They've marched on up and said, hey, Rhodes, the Athenian garrison is just cowering behind their walls. We need to get rid of this uprising, or otherwise these Athenian slaves will spread the words of like freedom and liberty to the Spartan Helot population, I guess. So actually, look, you know what? I think we'll play this one. And I guess we'll sit back and watch. We'll let the Spartans do most of the fighting and the dying, but we'll come in and help. This actually might encourage and grow further relations, fighting on side between the Spartans, to eventually get a military alliance with them. Because, to be honest, I don't think we could take Sparta. Like, seriously. They've got 2 full stacks there. One is now pushed up. And the garrison. Like, we're going to need 4 armies. Because, like, that's insane. We've only got 2. We've only got 1.5. Barely 2. And our strength comes from our navy as well. So if we can get if there's a garrison, a big city like Athens, and a garrison inside, if we've got our navy and army, we can take that easy. But without a port, it's actually kind of hard for us to conquer territory. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed episode 3. Stay tuned for episode 4 tomorrow, where we have a battle fighting alongside the Spartans. And look, that uprising unit roster isn't too shabby. It's going to be, depending on the terrain and the topography, it could be a hard battle for the Spartans. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for episode 4 coming out soon, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to play the outro now. Unfortunately, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my social media links in the description below if you want to stay connected with me. I also want to say thank you to this month's patrons and channel members: Victor K, Sebastian C, Jordan K, Caesar L, Brian S, Tao, Lion B, Kyle P, Tom C, and White P. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.